Hello everyone and welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into the world of a truly fascinating ancient civilization, the Etruscans. Now, they're a culture that is perhaps best understood today not through written records, but through their artwork. And we aren't just talking about any artwork here. We're talking about exceptionally vibrant, colorful, and just downright energetic pieces. So let's unpack exactly what made their culture so distinct, so captivating, and so incredibly influential.
There is a specific phrase that perfectly captures their essence, their joy of living. When you look at Etruscan art, you absolutely are not looking at cold, static monuments that were built just to intimidate people. Instead, you're looking at this continuous, incredibly warm celebration of everyday life. Their art literally radiates a profound vitality. It's packed full of color and movement. Honestly, even today, thousands of years later, when you stand in front of an Etruscan piece, that sheer joy and passion for life practically leaps right out at you. It's a really powerful reminder that ancient people weren't all that different from us in how they celebrated the world around them.
Okay, let's ground ourselves in time and space for a second. The Etruscan civilization really began to flourish in central Italy, starting way back in the 8th century BCE. They completely dominated the region's culture for hundreds of years. And, this is absolutely crucial, they profoundly influenced early Roman architecture, religion, and society along the way. Right in the middle of our timeline, around the 4th century BCE, specifically roughly 350 BCE, we see the creation of one of their absolute masterpieces, the Terracotta Winged-horses, which we're going to look at very closely in just a few moments. Finally, by the 3rd century BCE, the primary era of distinct Etruscan art begins to draw to a close. But for those 5 centuries, they were the absolute masters of their craft.
To truly capture the vibrant, colorful world they lived in, the Etruscans didn't just limit themselves to one type of expression. They mastered a highly diverse range of mediums, and we'll see how many of these specific skills were later adopted and adapted by the Romans. They painted these incredible wall murals depicting their daily lives and grand celebrations. They carved intricate sculptures. They were absolute masters of terracotta, working with baked earth to create lasting, durable figures. And they were exceptionally skilled metalworkers, crafting stunning pieces of jewelry. Every single one of these different mediums was utilized to vividly document and celebrate their completely unique way of life.
Now, this brings up a really fascinating question. How did the Etruscans react to foreign art? Well, central Italy was a bustling, busy place, and the Etruscans were definitely not isolated. In fact, if you look at archaeological digs, Etruscan tombs are literally full of imported pieces from other cultures. They had a huge appreciation for foreign art and were highly connected to the wider Mediterranean world. But here's the kicker. They didn't just passively collect these items to put on a shelf. Instead, they took them and incorporated them entirely into their own unique artistic worldview.
And this brilliantly illustrates their creative genius. On one hand, we see their total willingness to embrace foreign conventions, eagerly adopting ideas and forms that were super popular in the art of other cultures. But they never just copied them, they revolutionized them, adding what we like to call the Etruscan twist. For example, they were actually producing statues of nude female deities even before the Greeks did. On top of that, they uniquely blended imported Eastern subjects and motifs right in with their own indigenous art styles. They basically took the absolute best of what the world had to offer and made it entirely, unmistakably Etruscan.
To see the absolute pinnacle of this artistic mastery, we have to travel back in time to the Temple of the Ara della Regina, located in the ancient city of Tarquinia. This was a massive, grand, and incredibly significant location in the Etruscan world. And it was right here at this specific temple that archaeologists recovered a true masterpiece of ancient art, a piece that perfectly encapsulates all of the skill and that incredible vitality we've been talking about.
Which brings us to the climax of our gallery tour, the Terracotta Winged-horses. These are highly detailed Etruscan sculptures dating back to roughly 350 BCE. Think back to the mediums we discussed just a minute ago. Here we see their absolute mastery of a terracotta. And remember, this very skill of terracotta craftsmanship would later go on to heavily influence Roman architectural decoration. The level of detail achieved in the horses' manes, their outspread wings, and their tense muscular structure is just nothing short of stunning. Originally, they adorned the magnificent temple we just mentioned, serving as a massive testament to Etruscan devotion and artistic prowess. Today, thankfully, they are beautifully preserved and housed in Italy's National Archaeological Museum in Tarquinia, which allows us to witness their sheer grandeur firsthand. So the crucial question remains, how does a civilization actually transmit its joy through the centuries? Well, the Etruscans managed to do it by infusing their very spirit into the clay, the paint, and the metal they worked with every single day. They didn't just record history, they recorded their passion, heavily influencing the mighty Roman Empire that eventually followed them. Through stunning masterpieces like the Winged Horses of Tarquinia, their joy of living has truly survived the millennia. I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity to go out and discover even more about how ancient history still speaks to us today. Thank you so much for learning with me.